Hey there. Welcome to CyberPulse by Quantum Shield, the podcast where we make cybersecurity less intimidating and a lot more exciting. Every episode, we're diving into the latest digital drama, from sneaky hackers to the coolest defense strategies, all while sharing tips you can actually use. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's navigate this crazy digital world together.
All right, everyone. Ready to dive into something kind of scary today.
We're talking about endpoint security,
Yeah,
which I know doesn't sound super thrilling, maybe, but trust me, this is important stuff.
it really is.
It's about keeping your data safe, the stuff on your laptop, your phone, even that work computer you try to avoid looking at.
Basically, any device that connects to a network is an endpoint, and it's a potential target.
And let me tell you, the ways they can get compromised, it's like something out of a spy movie.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to break down the threats, those sneaky tactics hackers use, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself.
Because you're not powerless in this fight, not at all.
Okay, so let's get into it. We did a deep dive into, all the latest reports, research, the works, and there are some big bad threats out there when it comes to endpoint security.
Yeah, for sure.
And some of them are, well, kind of what you'd expect, right? Like malware.
Right, malware infection, that's a classic.
Like the common cold of the digital world, right?
In a way, yeah, except instead of a stuffy nose, it can steal your data or lock you out of your own computer.
Exactly. No fun at all. But then you've got, like, unauthorized access, data breaches. Those sound seriously intense.
They are. And they're becoming increasingly common, unfortunately.
And then there's this whole other category, almost like a curveball insider threats.
Ah, yes. The enemy within.
Right. It's not always some mysterious hacker on the other side of the world. Sometimes it's closer to home.
Exactly. So, we've got malware, unauthorized access, data breaches, insider threats. Those are some of the major players in this landscape.
Yeah, and they each have their own unique MO, their own ways of, causing chaos.
Oh, absolutely. Take malware, for example.
Okay, so malware. What's the deal with that these days? I feel like I haven't even heard about viruses in ages. Is that 2000 and late?
Well, you've got your classic viruses, sure, but malware has evolved. It's gotten much more sophisticated, stealthier. Have you heard of fileless malware?
Fileless. Okay, that sounds kind of terrifying.
It is. Basically, it doesn't download any malicious files to your device, which
Cool.
is how a lot of traditional antivirus software detects threats.
Sneaky.
Very. Instead, it injects harmful code directly into your device's memory. So there's no trace, it's incredibly difficult to detect, and it can steal your data right out from under your nose.
See, this is why I love these deep dives. I learn about this stuff, and it's like, whoa, I had no idea how vulnerable we are.
It's a constant arms race, for sure.
So, okay, fileless malware, that's one to watch out for. What about unauthorized access? What does that look like?
So unauthorized access, that's all about gaining entry to systems or data you're not supposed to have access to.
Right, hacking, basically.
Essentially. But it's not always some guy in a hoodie, feverishly typing away at a keyboard.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a little cliche.
It could be a lot more subtle than that. Think SQL injection, for example.
SQL injection sounds technical.
A little bit. But basically, it's a way of exploiting weaknesses in a website's code to gain access to their database.
Oh, so like getting into the back end and just taking whatever they want?
Exactly. And unfortunately, a lot of websites have these vulnerabilities, which leads to
Data breaches.
Exactly. And that's when your personal information, names, addresses, credit card details, it can end up in the wrong hands.
And it's not just like big companies that this happens to, right?
Sadly, no. Anyone can be a target.
It's scary to think about, like, all that information just floating around out there.
It's like leaving your front door wide open and hoping for the best.
Right.
And then on top of all that, you've got insider threats, which are a whole other beast entirely.
Okay, so insider threats, that's where it gets really interesting, I think, because it's not just about technology, right? It's about people.
Exactly. We're talking about employees, contractors, anyone who has legitimate access to systems and data, but who then intentionally or unintentionally put that data at risk.
Okay, so not always malicious then.
Exactly. It could be a disgruntled employee who leaks sensitive information.
Okay, that tracks.
Or it could be a well-meaning but careless employee who falls for a phishing scam or accidentally exposes confidential files.
It's like that thing, I think it was a tech company a few years back, where an employee leaked, like, thousands of internal documents.
Yeah, those happen more often than you'd think.
It's crazy. So with insider threats, it's like you can have all the fancy security measures in the world, but if someone on the inside decides to go rogue or even just makes a mistake, you're vulnerable.
That's the human element,
Yeah.
and it's one of the most difficult aspects of security to manage.
Okay, so we've got malware, unauthorized access, data breaches, insider threats, all pretty terrifying stuff, honestly. And I think this is the question on everyone's minds right now. How does this actually affect me?
That's a great question. And the answer is, it affects you in ways you probably interact with every single day. Think about it this way. Confidentiality, integrity, availability. These are the core pillars of security, and they're directly relevant to your everyday life.
Okay, I like where this is going. Break it down for me.
Okay, so confidentiality. This is about keeping your personal information private. We're talking about your online banking details, your private messages, photos, all of it.
The stuff you really don't want other people seeing.
Exactly. So if your endpoints are compromised, your confidentiality is shot. It's like someone rifling through your personal files.
Even the thought makes me cringe.
Right. Then there's integrity, which is all about the trustworthiness of your data.
Okay, so what does that mean, practically speaking?
Well, imagine someone tampering with your bank statements, right?
Oh, no.
Or they could be changing your medical records or spreading misinformation using your social media accounts without you even knowing. That's what's at stake when we talk about data integrity.
Okay, that is seriously unsettling. So confidentiality is about privacy, integrity is about trust, and what was the third one?
Availability.
Right. That one seems pretty self-explanatory, but I bet there are nuances there too, right?
For sure. At its core, availability means being able to access your data whenever you need it.
Which, in the digital age, is pretty much all the time.
Exactly. But imagine you need to file your taxes,
Right.
But your computer is locked down with ransomware.
Oh, no.
You can't access any of your files, you can't do anything, at least not until you pay the ransom. Or, let's say you're about to close a major business deal, and your entire system crashes thanks to a malware attack.
So frustrating.
To say the least. That's what's at stake when availability is compromised. You lose access to the information you need when you need it.
Okay, so we've got these very real threats, targeting our devices, putting our data at risk in ways, honestly, most of us probably don't even realize. It can feel overwhelming. So what can we actually do about it besides, throw our phones in the ocean and live in a cave?
Well, while disconnecting entirely might sound tempting sometimes,
I doubt it.
it's not exactly a practical solution for most of us.
Yeah, sadly not.
But the good news is you don't have to go off the grid to be safe. There are simple, practical steps you can take to dramatically improve your endpoint security.
Okay, I am all ears. Lay it on me.
First and foremost, strong, unique passwords. And I cannot stress this enough. Do not use the same password for multiple accounts.
Okay, yeah, guilty is charged on that one. But, it's hard to keep track of so many passwords.
I totally get it. That's where a password manager can be a lifesaver. It remembers all your passwords for you, so you only need to remember one master password.
Right, like that one password that unlocks everything else. Okay, that makes sense. So strong passwords, password manager, what else?
Two-factor authentication. Wherever it's offered, use it.
Two-factor. Remind me what that is again.
Sure, so it's an extra layer of security. It means that even if someone gets hold of your password, they still can't access your account.
Okay, how does it work?
Basically, after you enter your password, you'll get a code sent to your phone or sometimes your email address, and you need to enter that code to log in.
So it's like you need to prove it's really you, not just someone who knows your password.
Exactly. It's a simple step, but it makes a huge difference in protecting your accounts.
Love it when security is simple. Okay, so strong passwords, two-factor authentication, anything else?
Keep your software updated. I know those update notifications can be annoying.
Oh, tell me about it. I can't remind me later like it's my job.
But they're so important. Those updates often include security patches that fix vulnerabilities that hackers could exploit.
So it's like they find the weak spots and they fix them before the bad guys can take advantage.
Precisely. And speaking of bad guys trying to take advantage, we can't forget about phishing scams.
Oh, phishing. Yeah, those are sneaky. It's amazing how sophisticated they've gotten.
They're getting really good at making emails look legitimate.
Yeah, like the other day I got one that looked exactly like it was from my bank, but something just felt off about it.
That's great that you're paying attention to those gut feelings.
Well, thanks to deep dives like this.
Well, there you go. It's all about awareness. So always be wary of any suspicious emails, links, attachments, even if they seem to be from someone you trust. Double check the sender's address, hover over links before you click on them, and seriously, think twice before opening any unexpected attachments.
Sometimes it feels like one wrong click and your entire digital life could be compromised.
That's not far from the truth, unfortunately. But that's why staying informed is so important.
Knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely. The more you understand the threats, how they work, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself.
So, today we've learned that endpoint security isn't just some abstract concept. It's about safeguarding our digital lives. We've explored the evolving landscape of threats, everything from sneaky fileless malware to those oh-so-tricky insider threats, and most importantly, we've armed ourselves with some practical knowledge to navigate this digital battlefield.
And with that in mind, I want to leave you with this. Think about all the devices you use on a daily basis, right? Your phone, laptop, tablet, maybe even your smart TV.
Oh yeah, can't forget about those.
How secure are those endpoints right now?
That's a great question, and one that we should all be asking ourselves. Take some time today to assess your own digital defenses. Trust me, it's worth it.
Thanks for hanging out with us on CyberPulse. Remember, cybersecurity doesn't have to be scary. It's all about staying sharp and a little bit savvy. Keep learning, stay curious, and don't let those cyber gremlins get you down. Catch you next time, and until then, stay safe, stay smart, and keep crushing it online.